These, at times, Formula One fans went too far.
Lewis Hamilton targeted by racial slurs.
This is a climate emergency.
And first, we've got fans who could have ended up in prison for their uncontrolled rage. In most jobs, mistakes are just that, mistakes. But for this driver, a single error turned him into the most hated person in the sport. See, it was 2021, Abu Dhabi. Verstappen and Hamilton, tied on points, were ready to fight for the biggest title battle ever, or so it seemed.
We've been waiting for this all season long. The finale, the title decider, under the lights here in Abu Dhabi. It's lights out, away we go, and Hamilton gets a decent start, and he's already ahead of Max Verstappen.
By lap 2, Mercedes looked untouchable, and Lewis's win felt all but guaranteed. But then, the power of the script appears. At the back of the grid, two drivers were battling hard. One, Mick Schumacher, German, son of a racing legend and Formula F2 champion. The other, Nicholas Latifi. Sorry, go Tifi. Their fight was irrelevant to what was going on up front, until everything went horribly wrong. Of course, the safety car came in, flipping the championship fight upside down. Max decided to pit for fresh soft tyres.
Verstappen coming into the pits, and I would imagine there's a set of soft tyres waiting for him.
While the Brits stayed out on worn hards.
Strap box.
Negative.
Is he right behind me?
He will be, once they've sorted out all the order.
And the rest is history.
Verstappen has the faster, fresher tyres, and we have got 3.2 miles of racing action all the way to the checkered flag. Down the inside, Hamilton sees it coming. It's a late lunge by Verstappen, who takes the lead of the race. Verstappen now snatches the championship trophy from Lewis Hamilton, who's trying to have shared a brilliant championship battle, but the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch.
Max Verstappen, you are the world champion! The world champion!
To make sure I don't lose half my subscribers, I won't comment on this, but yet, instead of celebrating the title drama or debating the FIA's decisions, fans chose to target Latifi. Death threats, conspiracy theories, and accusations of intentionally crashing. Yeah, people actually believed a billionaire's son was bribed to crash. It got so bad that he deleted social media and even hired bodyguards during a trip to London. The most frustrating part, he wasn't even the issue. The real controversy stemmed from Michael Massey's decisions.
All the cars ahead of you are allowed to overtake Hamilton.
Well, this is highly unusual. Not all of the cars are allowed to unlap themselves.
We should get one lap of racing here, because I think that is the decision that has come from race control.
And it's harsh on Hamilton.
Mikey, this isn't right.
Who, guess what, also faced death threats. Eventually, the community stepped up. Williams condemned the hate, and even Hamilton supported the GOAT. As James Clear says, tiny changes can create remarkable results. But in this next race, one man's decision turned an ordinary event into an unforgettable spectacle. What are the chances of someone stepping onto an F1 track with cars flying by at 200 miles per hour and avoiding disaster? Slim, but never zero. Racing at Hockenheim was always unique. Its iconic straights cut through dense forests, and unpredictable weather often turned races into survival tests. But that July 30th, 2000, it wasn't rain or a mistake that caused disaster. It was one man. That weekend, Hakkinen started on pole with teammate Coulthard behind him. Meanwhile, Barrichello sat back in P18, overshadowed by his superstar teammate, Schumi. But that day, his race wasn't about following orders.
And in Germany, it is go!
As the race began, Rubens launched an unstoppable charge through the field.
Rubens Barrichello is already slashing his way through the field. Barrichello has already gained 8 places. He's up from 18th on the grid.
By lap 25, he had overtaken big names like Villeneuve, Irvine, and Trulli. It was an inspiring drive until the chaos began. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Robert Selly. Who? He wasn't a driver, engineer, or marshal. He was a disgruntled ex-Mercedes employee who had recently been fired. Carrying a banner demanding his job back, he walked straight onto the racing line where cars speed by at over 200 miles per hour.
And what on earth is he doing? Crossing the race
track during the Grand Prix.
Marshall scrambled to remove him, but not before drivers swerved to avoid a potential tragedy. The FIA had no choice but to deploy the safety car, throwing strategies into chaos. Insane, but not the end of the story. Rain began to fall, teams switched to wet tyres, and Barrichello gambled on staying with slicks. It was risky, but as the rain eased, Rubens showcased brilliant car control. And against all odds, by lap 45,
You are watching a sensational drive being completed with Rubens Barrichello from Sao Paulo, Brazil, winning for Ferrari, and he's done it! Superb! And look at the reception he gets.
the Brazilian anthem played for the first time since Senna's passing, with Rubens crying on the podium. A moment of raw emotion for Brazilians and fans worldwide. Meanwhile, Selly was, of course, arrested, but surprisingly, his protest later earned him compensation for wrongful termination from Mercedes, sparking debates not only about track security, we know how that one ended, but also about the personal struggles behind those extreme actions. But let me ask you something, is fan culture becoming too toxic for its own good? See, supporting your favourite driver is like being on a roller coaster. There are the highs,
Oscar Piastri wins for the first time in Formula One.
and the lows.
And Oscar Piastri finds the barriers.
But in Mexico 2023, the ride went off the rails. At the heart of it all was Checo Perez. After a challenging season, everyone was filled with mixed emotions, hoping to release their joy with a victory on home soil. But it turned out to be the opposite.
And the Mexico City Grand Prix is go.
He had a rocket start, even being able to launch for the lead. But unfortunately, it all went wrong.
Checo Perez trying to go around the outside. He's made contact. He's made contact with Charles Leclerc into the first corner. Perez spins round.
The disappointment in the stands was palpable. But for this one Red Bull fan, the anger was simply uncontainable. Words turned to shoves, and shoves turned to punches. Security rushed in to break it up, but the video footage went viral online. Some called it hooligan culture, others joked about a new Mexican Minister of Defense, and many simply applauded him for grabbing the aggressive fan by the neck and diffusing the chaos like a pro. Sadly, this wasn't an isolated incident. A month later, at the Abu Dhabi after party, fans celebrating the season's finale took things to another level. However, the investigators told me something else that no one knows. For every new subscription we get, we'll pop open one of those leftover bottles of Prosecco. Anyway, if you've ever watched a major sporting event, you've probably heard of Jimmy Jump. He's like the Forrest Gump of event disruptions, always showing up in places where he has no business being. World Cup? Check. Song contest? Check. Formula One? It's May 9th, 2004, the 5th round of the season at the Circuit de Catalunya. The atmosphere is electric, fans are cheering for their favourite drivers, and the V10s are howling through the formation lap. Everything seems perfectly normal, until, suddenly...
Oh no, not one of these. Hopefully we can get him off the track before the cars come round.
A real estate agent by day and a professional pitch invader by every other time. He's been literally everywhere. Champions League finals, tennis matches, the forecast. You name it, he's crashed it. But the real question is, why? Why would a professional realtor pull a stunt like this? Well, easy. To promote Catalan independence, make a statement, or just to get attention. And on this day, he picked the pinnacle of motorsport for his next big act. The issue here, this isn't a pitch or a stage. It's a racetrack, a place where even the smallest distraction can lead to disaster. Immediately, Marshall started chasing him down the main straight, trying to catch him before something disastrous would happen. We were all in pure disbelief. Luckily, this all happened during the formation lap, so no one was going flat out. But imagine if this wasn't Spain, but it's home, England. And imagine if it was a year earlier, with even more chaos. Well, I'm glad you've got a vivid imagination, because here we are, Silverstone 2003. The crowd? Oh, they were hyped, obviously. I mean, who wouldn't be? You had the Kaiser, Montoya, Kimi, all the big names, all lined up and all ready to enjoy those S's. However, things can never stay simple in our motorsport, can they?
They're off! Great start by Trulli, look at him! Down the inside, he's attacking! Using that Renault launch control, he takes the lead!
And, well, let's just say no one, not even the drivers, expected what came next.
Oh no! Oh my goodness me, just like Hockenheim a couple of years ago, we've got a lunatic on the track, down the hanger straight.
And yeah, I know, after all the chaos we've talked about, this might feel a little normal by now, but trust me, this was anything but. Here's the kicker. This wasn't just some random streaker. Oh no, this guy had a divine message to share. Meet Niall Horan. Yeah, almost like the former One Direction singer, but maybe a bit more mental. He was a former Catholic priest from Ireland, and well, let's just say his beliefs were unique. After being defrocked by the church, he decided to warn the world about an impending apocalypse. And how does one spread such an urgent message? By disrupting live events, of course. See, a year later, he tackled Brazilian marathon runner Vanderlei de Lima during the Athens Olympics, costing the poor guy a golden medal. Oh, and in 2006, he showed up on Britain's Got Talent with a bizarre dance routine, probably thinking Simon Cowell could help him save humanity. You could call it theatrical, but let's be honest, he was more dangerous and annoying than entertaining. But back to Silverstone. It was lap 12, and the race was unfolding beautifully. Rubens making moves, Michael biding his time, Montoya in the mix. Then, without warning, Horan stormed onto the hanger straight. Exactly, the very spot where cars hit lightning speed. Once again, the safety car reshuffled the grid, putting Barrichello in prime position to charge. By the time it ended, he'd pulled off 16 overtakes to take the win.
Yes, Rubens, you are the winner of the 2003 British Grand Prix, a race we'll remember for a very, very long time.
Absolutely beautiful. But to put it bluntly, Neil wasn't the follower, but the one being followed, as was proven years later. Climate activism is an important cause, I'm sure we all agree, but now picture this. You're a marshal trying to help poor Zhou Guanyu, who just decided to have the most brutal crash of the season.
George Russell out of this race, who's finished in the top 5 in every race this season, but he's out by the time they get to turn 1.
And you just catch a glimpse of this. Yeah, like you just saw, during the race suspension, a group of Just Stop Oil supporters walked onto the track and sat down on the tarmac. While cars were on track. They just sat down like they were at home. Unbelievable. Needless to say, they were shortly dragged out by marshals and the police. Ironically, the group's big moment didn't even make it to live TV. Broadcasters simply refused to give them what they wanted. After a trial, the group, which included 4 men and 1 woman, were found guilty of endangering drivers and marshals at the Silverstone circuit. Appeal judges upheld the original convictions. Oh, I almost forgot. Here's a well-dodgy stat for you. Did you know that Ferrari has a 70% win rate in races where a fan invades the track? Germany 2000, Silverstone 2003, Spain 2004, Singapore 2015, and Silverstone 2022 are just a few examples. Pretty wild, right? So, just a coincidence or a little Tifosi voodoo? And speaking of the prancing horse, their newest driver is no exception on this list.
It's a 4th win in Hungary. It's a first win for Mercedes. The World Championship record is equalled. Lewis Hamilton and is a 7-time champion of the world.
It's safe to say he's inspired millions around the globe. But of course, his journey hasn't been without its challenges. And most of those extend far beyond the racetrack. See, Lewis isn't just a record-breaking driver. He's also the first and so far only black driver in the category's history. Sadly, that's been a problem for some so-called fans.
Curing world peace and just be a mad hippie, being a mad hippie. What do you want me to say? Like, I'm a positive guy.
Take, for example, the 2008 preseason testing. You know what they normally say? New season, fresh start. But after a fierce rivalry with home hero Alonso the year before, let's just say that wasn't going to be easy. Some spectators showed up in blackface, wearing shirts with derogatory slogans aimed directly at Hamilton.
Grand Prix in Barcelona could be in doubt after yet more racism problems at the track. A member of the crowd was filmed with a blackened up face, arms and hands, wearing a McLaren t-shirt.
You know, the Spanish people have always been very warm to me, and even though I thought something like this might happen, you know, it wasn't pleasant, you know, but I'm still positive, as I still have great fans and friends in Spain.
Fast forward to recent years, and the scars of disgusting racism unfortunately resurfaced. 2021, a season that from start to finish was a constant fight. As we all know, one of the most intense, hard-fought, and catastrophic battles in sporting history. And even though they had some minor controversies, like Bahrain track limits,
car in front, by the time they get out of the corner, he's a whole car in front.
Is there a take on the outside of the track?
Okay, for the moment, let it Lewis through.
or their little incident in Imola.
To the first chicane once again, it's wheel to wheel, Hamilton and Verstappen.
That first lap at Silverstone changed everything. From the very start, it was clear that this was a close battle.
Verstappen's ahead of Lewis Hamilton, going through the second turn. It's the Red Bull, but Hamilton's coming back.
Wheel to wheel through the entire first sector, neither driver gave an inch. Then as they roared flat out towards Copse, just a tenth of a second separated them. And then...
This time on the inside, a continent touch! Verstappen is out of the race, and that's a big crash into Copse! Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen coming together. Hamilton continues on.
Disaster. Watching these guys battle race after race was pure cinema, keeping us glued to the screen until the very last moment. But while the racing was incredible, there was a darker side that couldn't be ignored. As the tension between the two drivers built, so did a disturbing wave of racial abuse online, particularly aimed at Lewis. The most recent incident came in 2022 with former world champion Nelson Piquet.
É que nem o filho dele ganhou campeonato. O neguinho que devia estar dando mais cura naquela época, ele tá meio ruim.
The backlash was swift, with condemnation from fans, teams, and governing bodies alike. Despite the abuse, Hamilton has remained steadfast. His advocacy for diversity and inclusion in motorsport has inspired change. The formation of initiatives like the Hamilton Commission shows his dedication to ensuring the next generation faces fewer barriers. And although I'm not a Lewis fanboy, I can only respect it. Unlike these next fans, the internet, the place where cat videos and quick recipes exist alongside, well, the less friendly side of humanity. And when I say less friendly, I'm talking about the online abuse Naomi Schiff faced. Her crime? She joined Sky Sports as a presenter.
My name is Naomi Schiff. I am a former W Series racing driver, now coming into the Sky team to be an analyst and also a co-host of Any Driven Monday.
That's it. Didn't crash a car, insult a driver, or even take sides. She just showed up and did her job. But hold on, her story deserves more than a headline. Born on the 18th of May 1994 in Antwerp, Belgium, to a Belgian father and Rwandan mother, Naomi's motorsport career is as diverse as her background. She got into karting at 11 and worked her way up through the ranks, racing in single-seaters, GT championships, and even endurance races. Nevertheless, her breakout moment came in 2014, when she absolutely dominated Clio Cup China Series. That earned her a contract to compete in the European GT4 Series with the KTM X-Bout GT. She continued to impress, becoming the 2018 champion. She was the real deal. And in 2019, the W Series noticed and picked her as a driver for their inaugural championship. By 2020, she transitioned into an ambassador and presenter role for the series, using her platform to inspire others. So when Sky Sports brought her on as an F1 presenter in 2022, it was just the next logical step for someone with her experience and knowledge. But apparently, for some people online, all of that wasn't enough. Schiff became the target of sexist and racist abuse, with trolls questioning her credibility simply because of her gender and ethnicity. Drivers like Max or Lewis were quick to show their support, publicly condemning the hate.
Naomi doesn't need me to speak out for her, but I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of abuse and racial abuse, and we all need to speak up. We all need to work together. We can all be better.
And with that kind of backing on your side, what more could you ask for? There are always going to be idiots hiding behind a phone, saying whatever they want. Or have we already reached the point where they'll do it right to your face? I mean, there is someone we could ask about that. Is there anything Max has collected more than trophies in his career? The answer is yeah, booze. Booze everywhere. So heading into Miami, it was clear things wouldn't change. In fact, they were about to get worse. The negative reception from the stands was impossible to ignore. In any case, showtime arrived, and from P9, it was time to unleash the beast.
And for Formula One in Miami, it's race on! Try and fight back. Now we've got DRS enabled. Say goodbye to the Red Bull. That is absolutely outrageous. Alonso, there's the DRS. There's the move to the inside. There is second position. Inside, he's got no other choice. The ball's wheel to wheel and round the outside. Will it be the lead? It's close between the two of them. The crowd are roaring, and Max Verstappen takes the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Max Verstappen wins the Miami Grand Prix with a masterclass of performance.
Maestro. It was a remarkable drive, one that deserves applause from everyone. And did the crowd give it to him? Of course not. But did Max care? Not one bit.
I think if I would be driving in the back, nobody would be even doing anything in terms of reaction, right? I think it's normal when you are winning and they don't like who is winning, so
let's recap. Why is the Dutchman so hated? For some, a confident kid solely focused on winning. For others, overwhelming, arrogant, and impossible to tolerate. That's Max. Add in Hamilton's rivalry, how he's demolished his teammates, and the chaos of his early career, and it all starts to make sense. In the end, whether you cheer or jeer, Verstappen's presence is undeniable, and as long as he keeps winning, the booze seem to just be another part of the show. Now, throughout this video, we've seen fans invading the track more than once. However, how and mostly why would an entire crowd decide to flood the asphalt while cars are flying by at over 200 miles per hour? September 10th, 2000. Italy was buzzing with energy, a race day destined for the history books. See, today, Schumacher is on a mission. He's chasing his third world title, looking to cement his name alongside legends like Stewart, Lauda, and his hero. But you know what's funny about heroes? Admiration can quickly turn into rivalry when you share the same stage. Take France 1992.
Oh, flat to start. Oh, and lots of action in the back. Oh, dear me. My goodness, mayhem has gone on all through the field.
Let's just say the Brazilian wasn't exactly thrilled. He grabbed Michael and told him exactly what was on his mind. But that wasn't their only clash. At a pre-race test in Germany, Senna felt the German had blocked him on purpose. This time, Ayrton didn't just talk. He pushed Michael, creating this iconic photo. So how much more intense can it get? Well, let's go to 1994. Senna, now with Williams, faces Michael. The stage was set for great rivalry, the kind that defines an era. But then, tragedy struck.
We got him out of the cockpit, got his helmet off, got an airway into him, and I saw from his neurological science that it was going to be a fatal head injury.
On May 1st, 1994, Ayrton lost his life in a crash at Imola. Believe it or not, with Michael just behind him.
But a spokesman for the hospital in Bologna said there was no chance he would survive.
Beijo, Senna. Não te esquecerei nunca mais. Era ídolo para mim. Ele representava muito o Brasil.
So from that moment on, the Kaiser seemed determined to apply what he'd learned, avoid public drama, and most importantly, let his driving do the talking. Fast forward to Monza, and you can see how much effort Michael put into dominating. From pole to the finish line, he obliterated the competition.
Michael Schumacher win at Monza and Italy.
With the Tifosi roaring in support, he didn't just secure Ferrari's first Monza win since 1996, he matched Senna's career record of 41 victories. Overcome with emotion, Michael broke down in tears during the post-race press conference.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is your 41st victory, which puts you in equal second all time with Ayrton Senna. Do those records mean a lot to you?
Yes, it does mean a lot to me. Sorry.
And the celebration, mamma mia. The Tifosi stormed the track before the cars stopped. Some fans even touched Schumacher's car as it rolled by. How crazy do you have to be to do that? It was magical, no doubt, but also dangerously chaotic. And compared to today's controlled celebrations, this one had a raw, unforgettable aura. Nowadays, the only chaos Ferrari faces is their internal chaos. If you somehow don't know what I mean, watch this one next. And as always, thank you for watching.